Okay, guys, like yesterday, so we were talking about validation rules. Okay, validation means like it will just validate the data, like whether the input which we are giving is right or wrong. So as per the business, so it will check so whether this data is correct or not. And we have like standard validations. First, these will be filed. Okay, and then so custom validations, it comes like if I have like something product quantity put is greater than zero, it should have like it should not have like negative values. Likewise, we can identify. So likewise, so yesterday like we identified like one or two, and later so I have identified this many, and we also like we can identify more. So if we have time, but these are sufficient. So mostly we don't use much. So but anyways, so we need to have idea like how we'll be creating this. So I have identified this many. So only for the single object, only for single object. You can also like create multiple validation rules within the system. So for different objects. So first let's see, payment number should not be blank. So this is a simple only. So this is the field. Let's consider payment number. So is blank. We are checking is it blank. So the payment number should not be blank. That means so if someone is entering, so like it is a blank, then it will be checking. So if this is a text format, payment number, so it will be just checking is blank. So if I just copy this, so just first copy this rule. So this is the rule we will be just executing now. So let me just quickly go to the payment, and so it's a payment object, right? So I just need to create a role name. The first so role name, payment number should not be blank. So and it should be active, and we can write like some description. And the error message like which I want to pass is like payment number should not be blank. So here like what we are writing, so payment number so should not be blank. So if someone is entering blank, so here so we have like lot of functions, right? So we have discussed yesterday also like few of the functions, and call got disconnected. So we can use like multiple. So here like if it is a blank, I want to check. So check for I. So is blank. So if is blank, so the expression we will be mentioning here. So is blank, it is checks. It checks whether the expression is blank, and either like if it is true, so then so it will throw an error. So if it is false, it will not throw an error. So simply double click, so you will get expression. So exactly the syntax you will be getting. So is blank, in this expression you have to mention like any field. So let's take payment info or payment number. So I'm selecting like payment number because like we are trying for payment number. And like if you have another also, like if you have like multiple you want to check, you can just write here itself. So you just need to write like or, either in this manner, or so if you are just writing like this function like this, so in that case so it should be in a proper format. How you can get, so if you just go here like check or function, so this is the like format. So logic 1, so comma logic 2, comma logic 3. Likewise you can add multiple logics. So if you just select double click this, so you will be getting like this. So this is the first logic. So this select first logic, control X and control V. And for the second logic, again I can mention like some other field. So let's take I want to check the same function. Same functionality again for the other field. So do we have other field, something field? So payments, go to object. So instead of writing like multiple validations, you can just control that in a single, like should not, anyways, like it is a master detail, it will not be blank. And so is patient, so this is a checkbox. Yeah, maybe like payment date, so it is a mandatory, let's consider. So I can just add that also. I can just add so that as well. So for this like so it is a date format, right? So I can also check for the date. So it is blank. So if it is not supported, so it will immediately throw an error, so don't worry. So this is the format like or, and I'm checking so whether is it blank. So if is blank, so this is the first condition, it will check. So or means like what? Either this can be true or this can be true, it will throw an error. So either this or this. So it will be checking like payment number, let's consider, or so it will be checking like payment date. So if payment date is blank or if payment number is blank, it will throw an error. So check the syntax. Okay, so there are no errors found, like, okay, so that means like payment more date also, this is a date format, right? Even though like we can use is blank. So payment number, I'm mentioning like one more or, so that, okay, so user will be clear. So what we are trying to say, and payment date, payment date should not be blank. Okay, so either payment number or payment date should not be blank. Okay, so this is the something. So the error message like which we are passing either at field level or top of the page. Okay, so it is having like two fields. So I'm okay mentioning at the top. Let's quickly save this. Okay, it should be active. And if you want to test this, how you can test, how you need to test. Okay, you have to just create a new, or you can just update the existing one also. Let me just update the existing one. So okay, so I think will be fine. Yeah. So here like I'm just editing it. So right now I'm removing this because okay, so here like payment date, it should have like some value. So you can see like payment number or payment date should not be blank. Okay. So if you can see like payment number, so which is having some value, so that okay, it is throwing for this. Okay. So payment number is having some value, but payment date is not having value. And we have mentioned so or condition here. Okay. So or condition, so that okay, so it will check both fields. So either like it can be true in this case or it can be true in this case. Okay, so this is true now, so it is throwing an error because we are using or. But if you are using and, if you are using and, like what will happen, so it will check both. So if this and this both are blank, so then only it will throw an error. So is someone, any doubts? You're clear, right? Any questions? Okay. Yeah, likewise, okay, if you are just checking only for is blank, so better. Okay, so what I suggest, like you can just put okay all in a single, and you just need to mention or plus. So within this or, okay, you can just like comma by comma separator, you just need to write like multiple logics. What if, okay, if I just want to write instead of this or, I want to just okay write like in a different manner, so I want to use the same or only, but okay, so in a different manner, so that also we can do. So this is one condition. And so we have like operators. So if you can see, okay, there is something called for or. Yeah, so this one. So if you are using in this expression, okay, so it should be like something like this. Okay, so if you are using like and condition, so this is something it should be having like a like ands twice. So or means like this is for or. So both are same. Okay, so both are doing same actions, like same, okay, same functions only. But so if you are writing like or at the starting, so the expression will be different. See, the syntax will be different, and here the syntax is different. Okay, so you can just check the syntax. So if it is fine, then okay, so you can just save this, right? So likewise, this is one thing. Let me just copy once. So this is okay. Also works, or like if you just write in this manner, also it will be working. But we are checking like two fields here. So likewise, you can add like multiple fields if it is. But if you are writing like or, so it should be comma separated, and so it should be closed. Okay, so this is one formula. This is only for a single field, and it is for like multiple fields. Okay, so this is one thing. So which we discussed now, and let me just quickly okay go with another one. Like payment mode should not be online. So and I identified like one more issue. So maybe okay, so they have just removed this online. So now okay, if someone is entering online, so it should throw an error. So right now, okay, let me just quickly give this value because the validation is active now. So it will throw an error. So now, okay, these two are okay. And now I want to check online. Okay, so let's take, so if this is something phone pay, it is, I'm able to save the data. Now I want to restrict the user if user is entering online, because okay, this online mode has been removed from this business. Now okay, if someone is entering this online, so it should throw an error. Okay, so right now it is not throwing an error if we are entering online. So now I'll be writing okay, so for the same, so let me just copy this business rule. So this is the business rule. Okay, so payment mode should not be online, so it should not contains online. Okay, so for online checking, okay, so first you need to understand like what is the field type. Okay, so this field type is something online. This is payment mode. Okay, so which is a pick list type. So if it is a text, like okay, we can just write like is blank, or we can just type okay the value directly equals to something. Okay, so if it is some value, you can just mention okay the field equals, and then you can mention the name. Or let's say if it is patient info, you can just mention like this. Okay, so with the string, say patient info is something. Okay, yeah, so you can just check likewise. But so this is something a pick list. So if you want to utilize a pick list, we just need to go with like something. Okay, if you want to check whether which we selected. Okay, so for that like we have to go with like isPeakVal. So isPeakVal is something like so it will check the okay, it will only accept this field. Okay, this field type, pick list field type, and then okay, so what is the text like you want to check. So it will be checking. Okay, so let's consider. So this is let's double click it. So this is the structure we need to follow. And pick list field. Okay, so pick list field. So you have to mention what is the pick list like payment mode, right? So this is the pick list. So which I want to check. Okay, so within this pick list, so we can have like multiple values. We have like okay, so these are all the multiple values, and later also we can add multiple values to this pick list. Okay, so now if I want to utilize this in the either in formula or within validation anywhere. Okay, if you want to utilize this function, so you have to write this. Okay, this is the syntax like this. Okay, so here you need to mention what is the value you want to check. So this is the text format. Okay, so like this, if you are writing a text, so it should be like starting and ending with this. Okay, so in between you have to write, so what is the text like you want to check. So is pick val. So for this pick list, which value you want to check? So online. Okay, so just copy this and paste here. Okay, so copy and paste will be better. So don't type it. Okay, so copy paste. Okay, would work better. Otherwise, okay, it can like fail, right? So I'm just checking. Okay, so if user is selecting this online. Okay, but for this, like if I just write not, like what will happen? So user is asking like what payment mode should not be online. So should not be online means okay. If I write like this, what will happen? Can anyone tell me? First, let me check the syntax also. So if I write like this, what will happen? So is it correct? Like anyways, okay, it is correct because syntax wise it is saying yes. So here like I'm checking. So is for this field, so is online is checked, is online selected. And if I write like outside not, like what will happen? So for this like validation. So will this validation fires? Any guess? Anyone? So what it will do, like if I write like not outside, and then okay, so what actually I was trying to say. So what is the meaning of this expression? Hello, are you following?
Yeah, bro.
Yeah. So what could be the like so output? So and okay, so what the user is asking? So payment mode should not be online. So if I just mention not outside, and first okay, what I was trying to say. So it should be okay. So what is selected? Okay, selected value is online. Outside I'm writing not. So whether this validation works or not first. So let me just okay quickly say, or let me just okay showcase you like how it works, so that you will have a better idea. Okay, so let me just save this. So I have mentioned like outside not. Okay, so and I was checking like online. So let me just okay quickly save this. So okay, let me just give like phone pay. So what it is saying, payment mode should not be online. Okay, what I have selected, so I have selected Google Pay. So user selected like Google Pay. Okay, user selected cash. So whenever okay, so user selected other than okay, so online, so it is throwing an error. But like when user selects online, so it is not throwing an error. So is it the functionality which we want?
No.
yeah, we want something. Okay, so when user clicks on online, then only it should be firing it should throw an error, right? So okay, so what we have to do, so the business logic is something different, and okay, so opposite to the business logic we have to write. So if they are saying not, okay, you should not mention not. So if they're saying okay, it should be, then you have to mention not. So let's consider, okay, so payment mode should be online. Payment mode should be online. Then in that case, so let's consider, okay, so only this. They are not asking not, it should be online. Always it should be online. Okay, so it should not consider other things. Okay, then is it fine? So like if I just give okay online, so it is taking, but okay, so remaining like Google Pay, if I'm selecting, so it is not picking up. Okay, so cash not picking. Okay, so Phone Pay not picking, right? So likewise, okay, so it is not taking any other inputs. Like user is asking same, payment mode should be online, should be online. So if user is selecting online, so when okay, so he's trying to save it, so they're able to save. So this is fine. So if they're asking okay, payment mode should be online, so then it is fine. Okay, so let me just copy this. So this can be okay, one more. So this is the validation logic. Okay, so which you have to do. So if this should be right something. Okay, so then you have to write in this manner. So if it is a pick list, definitely you have to write okay, go with like is pick val, and then this is the format. And then okay, so you can just like multiple like this. So you want to control okay, other field also, like we just need to mention a comma like this. You can add other logic as well. But okay, so our main is like something different, right? So it should not be online. So it should not be online. So that okay, so we should not write like not here. So we just need to check online. Okay, so if someone is entering online, so immediately it should throw an error. So now okay, so edit this. Okay, select Phone Pay. User will be able to okay, save the data. And if user is selecting cash also fine, but user is selecting online. So when user is selecting online, so it will throw an error. Okay, so payment mode should not be online. So is it clear? So yeah, for this like okay, so this is the formula. I'll be sharing this. Okay, no worries. So and okay, so payment number should starts with something pay. Okay, so these like I have identified yesterday. So let me just quickly okay create one more validation. So this is one validation, but okay, you can just track them and you can just identify. And let me create one more. So the next one is like okay, so payment number should starts with pay. Okay, so we have a format like okay, that is a text format payment number. So that payment okay, so it should start with pay only. Okay, likewise we have a automated auto number, right? So when you are creating auto number, so it will just ask initial okay, so what it should start. But if it is a text, like user can enter anything, right? So user can enter, let's take okay, if he's creating, let's quickly open the existing one only. So yeah, user can enter anything like okay, so text means free text, it can have like numbers, or okay, so like this it can have, or it can be anything. Okay, it should not be starting with like pay. So they can add like anything. Okay, so something paid, okay, like this. So it is having like max characters. Okay, so they can enter okay, which is a free text, they can enter anything. Now I want to control this data, so they should okay, so this field should starts with only okay a specific format. Okay, so it should start with a text. Okay, so how we'll be writing that? So it should starts with okay, so means we have a something function, just need to go to all functions. Okay, when we can use all this. So we'll also discuss like one by one, but still okay, so we don't have much time. Okay, so to check all this, but even okay in like real time we don't use much validations, but anyways okay, we need to have idea. So begins okay, so there is something which checks for text and compare text. Okay, so any text format, So text field it will be checking, and okay, so you have to write like compare text. Okay, what you want to check. Okay, so and it should starts with something. Okay, so begins, and select this and insert the field. So which field we want to check? What is the field name? What is the field name? Payment number. Right? So payment number. So this is a text format. Okay, so payment number. So I'm checking. Okay, so for this payment number, is it starting? Okay, so is it starting? Is it starting? Okay, yes. Okay, so with which? So if it is starting with pay, if it is starting with pay, okay, the business rule is like something payment number should start with pay. Okay, so should start with. It is not mentioning not. So, but okay, we are writing like begins payment number. So pay. Okay, so if something okay which is starting with pay, so it will throw an error, right? So what we are writing here like begins, and if this begins okay with some value, then it will throw an error. So what is the error message like we want to pass? So the error message, better let me copy this. So we are getting underscores. Okay, it will not be good for seeing. And on which field? Okay, so it should be like payment number, and save this. Okay, so we have mentioned like this. Okay, so whether it is beginning with pay. So then what will happen? So when user is entering something, okay, so user can save this, and user can save like this. Okay, so if it is having something, but even okay, so if user typing like pay, save this. Okay, so payment number should starts with pay. Like we have given a wrong message here. Okay, so because the formula is something different, user is already entered. Okay, so user entered already pay. Okay, it is started with pay, but even though it is throwing an error, so it should start with pay because the formula okay which we have written is wrong. So it is checking okay whether this is started with pay. Okay, so is it begins with pay? If it is begins with pay, okay, so it will throw an error. Okay, so let's consider. So if I just write like PA, okay, so it is considering this as a good data, but actually our logic is something different, right? So we need to check okay, so whether it is beginning with okay, so pay or not. If something which is not beginning with pay or any value, so it should throw an error. Okay, so for this, so the simple okay concept is like if that business which is not okay mentioning not, you have to mention not. Okay, so simple. So not okay starts and ends. The same logic okay we are writing, but so out of which like okay, so outside we are mentioning not. So what it will do? So it will check okay pay. So if someone is entering, if someone is not entering this pay for this payment number, so if it is not starting with pay, then it will throw an error. Now save this. Edit this. Okay, so now it is like only PA. Save this. Now it is showing payment number should starts with pay, right? So let's consider okay, I write like this, okay, PAI and save this. So it will throw okay, whatever like you write. So if it is not starts with like pay, so it will throw an error. Okay, so like okay, so pay, then only so it will save the data. So it will save the data. So what if okay, so this is clear, right? So completely okay, we are just automating this. So it should start with okay, so pay. Likewise, you can just add any for any other things. Okay, so it should start with pay, right? So like what happens okay if I just want to check this payment number, so it should ends with. So right now okay, it is starting with like pay. If I want to check okay whether this is, it should be ending with something okay pay, or in between okay, so it's something it should have. So for that purpose okay, if it is in between or if it is ends, for ends like you can use okay ends function, or like if it is in between you can just use like contains. So contains means it will be checking okay, so whether within this complete, so whether that okay which is available or not. So you can just okay use those also, like so go to contains. Yeah, contains. Okay, so the same only, the same format contains. which will be checking for text, okay, data type, and the compare text. Okay, so what you want to compare, like this. Okay, so what do you want to compare? And okay, so before this, like you have to mention not. Okay, so if that is not contains, if that is not contains, then only it will throw an error. So this okay, you cannot use if it is in between. Okay, so this is the one I think. Okay, so the same which I mentioned here. Yeah, this is fine. And now okay, so is there is like one more another 10 minutes. Okay, so this call will be disconnected. So is patient required? Okay, so I have written like one more. So is patient required? So this is a checkbox like we created. Is required when patient, okay, master detail is selected. Okay, patient which is connected with master detail. So let's consider, okay, so master detail anyways, which is a mandatory, right? So if user is selecting, okay, master detail, so then okay, so I want to just like it is connecting with two fields, okay, not a single field. So based on one field, I'm checking another field. So this can also happen. So I can check, okay, based on one field, I can check another field. Okay, so I'm checking like patient. If patient is already selected, anyways, okay, master detail which is mandatory. So if this is selected, so is patient required should also be selected. Okay. So otherwise, like it should throw an error. Okay. So like that, so we can just check. So here, like, okay, let me just quickly copy this and how we will do this. So, so I'm checking, okay, one field. So based on another field selection. Okay. So another field selection, like there are two fields right here. So this is not taking okay center, but anyways, okay. So you can understand it, like based on this error message, you can understand. So now, so based on one field, I want to check another field. Okay, the first field is what? So we have to identify what is the first field. Okay, so what is the dependent field, and what is the control field. Okay, so first we need to identify controlling field. Controlling field is like patient. So this is the master detail. So for that, like I just need to mention. So if okay, so this is the function if function, or okay, so if you just want to okay avoid these okay all syntax related issues, then you can just use if. So this automatic, okay, so you got okay, so this format, and here this like this is the logic. So if okay, actually we'll be having like three okay parameters. One is something, okay, so which is the logic, okay, what we want to write here, and then so it will check okay true here and false here. Okay, so this is the logic, and this is the true value, and this is the false value. Okay, so first, okay, what I want to check, the first is like master detail. So is it okay, so master detail selected. So for selection purpose, okay, whether this master detail is not null, so how we can check, okay, so is blank, right? So is blank means okay, whether it is a blank or not, it will be checking. But if I write like not is blank, then so it will. Okay, so if it is a not okay, so is blank. That means okay, it should not be blank. Okay, so I'll be just using first not, or okay, so is blank. So let me just quickly go here and check for okay, so is blank. So this is the is blank, and here okay, what is the field I want to check? So what is the field? Patient info. Okay, so this is the lookup or master detail. I guess master detail. So patient info. Yeah, it can be lookup. I think okay, which is required at layout level. Yeah, so this is the lookup. Okay, so which is also required. So user anyways this will be entering. So if it is a lookup, let's consider. So I'm checking okay is blank. So is it blank? And then okay, so for this again I want to just write not. Okay, so that like what will happen? So for this patient I'll be checking. So is it not blank? Okay, so that means something is entered. Okay, some value is available here. So then only okay it will go for this true. Otherwise okay it will be going to false. So if this condition is true, then only it will be going to false. Sorry, true, and otherwise like it will be going to false. Okay. So now what I am trying to do, like here, I just need to add like one more not. Okay. So within this logic, we have to mention this logic and type. Okay, what we are trying to do here. Okay. So now if you can just understand this, So, okay, so what we are trying to do here, so what we are trying to say to the system is, okay, if this patient info, which is not blank, okay, which is not blank, so then, so it will go for true. So if, okay, let's take if user is entering some value, then immediately it will go to true. So if, okay, this is not selected, then, okay, it will directly go to false. So if it is going to true, like what we need to do. So here, like we have to write the logic. So what is our condition is like, okay, patient, if patient is selected, so we need to, okay, so check box, okay, by default it will be false. Is patient required is false. Now I want to make this true. So simply, okay, you just need to, okay, copy this and you have to write like this, okay. So it is a checkbox, right? Like for this checkbox, so you just need to mention, okay, so what the true value, okay. So this is how we will be writing. So is patient required equals true. So that means, okay, if this is true, if this is true, and then only it will come here and it will, okay, so check the is patient required field. So if this is not true, if this is not true, then okay, so it will go back, it will go to direct false, okay. So within false, like what we want to do. So if I want to just do some other, okay, any other field, okay, if I want to make something, I can just write that. Okay, so if nothing is like which is not dependent, so simply you can just, okay, ignore it, or you can just mention like this. So let me check the syntax. Maybe it will not take it out. So because it should not be, it should be like having a true or false. It will throw immediately incorrect parameter type function if you are using expected is boolean. Boolean means true or false, but we received a text. So you can just understand, okay, so this message, error message, and you can just modify this. So it is saying, so the expression is correct, but okay, at last, like you are mentioning, uh, okay, so text, but it should be something boolean, okay. So you just need to mention false, okay. So I don't want to do anything over there. Let's consider, okay, if you want to do something, so then you just need to mention that for let's consider, okay, so I want to do some step. So maybe like, okay, someone can modify that, okay, to true. So I want to make that completely false, okay. So if it is a true, like, okay, so this patient required, I'm making that as a true. So if it is a false, if this condition is false, if this condition, first it will check this condition. So based on this condition only, okay, it will go either true or false. So if this is true, then okay, it will just be checking this true, or otherwise like it is a false, okay. So anyways, like by default it is a false, so we don't need to even write also, okay. So but yeah, so just for maybe, okay, so for the good data, so maybe someone, okay, can update like that with the true or something. So we are not controlling that, right? So okay, I just want to be very clear, so I'm just mentioning, so this should be false. So on which field it should be, this should be something is patient required, is patient required field, so it should throw an error. Save this. So the relation of the container. Okay, so did you get this? Like, so what we are trying to do? So we are checking, okay, one field. So based on one field, so value, we are trying to, okay, update another field. Not update, okay, we are just validating it, okay, whether that is a true or false, okay. So let me just quickly edit this. And now, okay, so this is